Tonight is a community service of the New York Institute of Technology.
Covering the news of Nassau and Suffolk County's Long Island News Tonight with Ken Eckhart, Carol Peck, and the award-winning LI News team. Good evening. I'm Ken Eckhart, and here's what's happening. No new findings announced today in the ongoing search along the South Shore's Ocean Parkway, where investigators continue to look for clues that seem to point to a serial killer. Today, the search continued on the land, water, and from the sky, where an FBI aircraft was collecting high-resolution images of the area of Jones Beach towards Tobay Beach. A first set of human remains was found near Gilgo Beach back in early December, followed by the discovery of 3 more sets of remains, all believed to be the work of a single serial killer. Well, since then, 4 more sets of remains have been found, along with additional findings that could raise the total to 10. It's reported an FBI helicopter will be searching the area tomorrow, with divers possibly returning to Hemlock Cove for additional searching. A motorist in Sayville says her brakes failed, causing an accident that killed a passenger in her vehicle. It happened yesterday afternoon at the intersection of Lakeland Avenue and Eastover Road. Police say 63-year-old Adina Nikki Mohan of Brentwood went through the intersection at Eastover and was hit by a car heading south on Lakeland. Nikki Mohan was treated at a nearby hospital for her injuries, while 64-year-old passenger Tyran Mohan of Brentwood died of his injuries. No word on the condition of the other motorist. Well, now that the weather is getting nicer, you may be thinking about what you should be doing to get your garden back in shape for the planting season. And as Tara Evans reports, the best place to start is with the soil.
Yeah, gardening's a great thing, a great activity, because if you've been gardening for 40 years, you have your likes and you get your rewards. But if you've never tried it before, you can experiment with small things and be very successful right off the bat.
Doug Akerley of Hicks Nurseries in Westbury says although it doesn't quite feel like spring, it's just the right time to start planting your spring garden.
It's a great time of year to plant cold weather plants that actually like and grow better in the cold weather.
And if you don't know where to start, he says the best way to begin is by clearing out your yard and taking care of the soil before selecting your plants.
If you're planting a brand new bed, or one that you haven't checked for a few years, it's great to do a soil sample, check the pH, and then put the proper fertilizers and or lime in so that your plants will thrive once you do plant them.
Akerley says that one of the best things about starting a garden at this time of year is that a lot of the plants are very resilient. So even if you don't have a green thumb, you can still get in there and get dirty.
Probably the most popular plant this time of year are the pansies. They're very cold tolerant, but the colors on pansies are so vibrant. There are very few people that don't like pansies.
Akerley says pansies aren't the only cold weather flower. This whole room is full of different options. And if you want to get a jump start, Akerley says it's not even too early to begin planting your summer garden.
The other thing that I think a lot of people forget about is now is the time to plant the summer flowering bulbs. People usually come in when their lilies are blooming in the neighborhood and they want to buy a lily, but you have to plant them this time of year if you're going to get a great one in your garden later on.
In Westbury, Tara Evans, LI News Tonight.
Authorities are trying to find out a little bit more about a dog found riding alone on the Long Island Railroad. The dog was reportedly found by train operators Tuesday night on a westbound train in Farmingdale. It's suspected the thunder and lightning storm that night frightened the dog, which then jumped into the train when it stopped at the Wyandanch station. The mystery dog, described as very friendly and loving yellow lab mix, about 5 years old, has been taken to the town of Babylon shelter, and officials are trying to locate his family. Well, some of Long Island's top women entrepreneurs were honored recently for their accomplishments in business and manufacturing. And as Elsa Gillis reports, for some of them, their original business concept grew out of a personal interest or need.
Have you ever wondered how much sugar there is in that Coke of yours? Well, Dr. Dilcia Granville also wondered. So she invented the Dip and See, a strip device that will tell you how many grams of sugar and glucose there are in your beverages and soft foods. Her invention evolved into a company in Elmont, and Dr. Granville was one of 6 local female business leaders honored in Mineola recently for her contribution to Nassau County's economy.
Small business represents 60% of the employment here in Nassau County. And these business leaders here are contributing to the overall success of our local economy here, even in these challenging times.
The honorees were chosen by a committee of county leaders who say they recognize these women for their success in both business and manufacturing.
Manufacturing is one of the key industry sectors we want to develop, we want to retain, and also attract to Nassau County.
And these women being honored today say they are hoping to inspire other women to follow their passions just as they did.
I'm being speaking to the Girl Scout and every girls out there because I do know that we all have something to offer.
I'm hoping to inspire other people, especially my daughter. On the other hand, I've been inspired by so many, so I guess it's just very cyclical.
While they shared their paths of success and sometimes failure, the women also offered a lot of advice.
Surround yourself with people who are better than you are.
If you don't give back to your community, then you can't expect anything back for your company.
Make a decision and never look back.
In Mineola, Elsa Gillis, LI News Tonight.
Failing to signal a traffic turn wound up with 3 Long Island men arrested on weapons and drug charges. Police say it happened yesterday morning along Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow. Authorities say when an officer pulled over the car for failing to signal, he noticed a collapsible baton, commonly used by police and security officers, lying on the back floor. Well, they say further investigation then led to the discovery of a .22 caliber rifle, along with a supply of marijuana and heroin. The 3 men are identified as Dennis Egan and Jeffrey Mamaleos, both 22 and from Wantagh, and 25-year-old Joseph Conticelli of Levittown. Well, it was a mixed day on Wall Street today. The Dow finished up just over 14 points. NASDAQ was down 1 1/3 points, but the S&P was up just a fraction. NYIT's LI News Tonight continues after this.
Finance counselors will be available to talk about ways to get out of debt at Brookhaven Office of Women's Service in Farmingville on Tuesday, April 19th. To register, call 631-698-2074. Paint your own Russian nesting dolls at Brentwood Public Library on Tuesday, April 19th at 11 a.m. For more information, call 631-273-7883. See a screening of the film Platoon at New York Institute of Technology's D. Seversky Center in Old Westbury on Wednesday, April 20th at 5:30 p.m. For more information, call 516-686-7567 or take the kids to learn about fly fishing at a clinic for junior anglers at Caleb Smith State Park Preserve in Smithtown on Saturday, April 23rd from 8:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. For more information, call 631-265-1054. If you have an event you'd like included on the LI News Tonight community calendar, send it to linewstonight@nyit.edu.
Press play to start your future. Learn the industry. Use the technology. Become an expert in television reporting, journalism, radio, digital film, public relations and advertising, television production, digital graphics, a beautiful state-of-the-art campus, a road to the job you've always wanted, in the media capital of the world. Communication Arts at NYIT. When can you start?
Some headlines around the world today. Radiation levels around Japan's crippled nuclear plant have reportedly dropped enough for authorities to begin searching for bodies in areas near it. Police in white protective suits, goggles, and blue gloves began digging through the muddy debris inside a 6-mile radius around the plant. As many as 1,000 bodies are believed to be lodged in the debris. The March 11th earthquake and tsunami are believed to have killed more than 26,000 people, but only about 13,500 bodies have been recovered. Nearly 140,000 people are still living in shelters after losing their homes or being advised to evacuate because of concerns about radiation. A European Union official says the 27-nation organization has lifted sanctions against former Libyan Foreign Minister Moussa Koussa, the most senior member of Muammar Gaddafi's regime to have defected. The official says the sanctions, which included a visa ban, were lifted at the request of the UK, the country where Koussa flew to last month to defect. It's reported part of the motive was to encourage other Gaddafi insiders to also defect. All 27 EU countries had to agree in order for the sanctions to be lifted. And Denmark's royal family has celebrated the baptism of baby twins. The new royal twins are named Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine. In line with royal tradition, the names remained secret until today's baptism ceremony at a church in downtown Copenhagen. Australian-born Crown Princess Mary gave birth to the twins back in January. She and Crown Prince Frederick have 2 other children, 5-year-old Christian and 3-year-old Isabella. New York State is considering a law that would prevent anyone under the age of 18 from using indoor tanning salons. And as Charles Perry reports, health experts say the new law would help reduce the risk of skin cancer.
Teens wanting to tan should think twice before heading to tanning salons. Health officials say getting a suntan outdoors is already a risk, but they say sunless tan beds are exposing minors to UV radiation 15 times the intensity of the midday sun. Doctors say tanning beds increase the risk of skin cancer in children, and they say UV rays damage the cells that cause our skin to tan and eventually could cause melanoma. Dr. McMahon says the dangers of tanning salons are endless.
So in kids that are being unmonitored in these tanning beds, so we don't know how long they're staying in, we don't know how many times a week they're getting tanned, are they putting themselves at increased risk for a potentially deadly disease later on?
New York State is currently considering a bill that would ban anyone under the age of 18 from using a tanning salon. But some teens see the darker side to the proposed ban.
Going to the beach is probably even worse for you. You know, you're directly in the sunlight. At least here you can control the amount of rays you're getting.
I really don't think that that's fair, because, I mean, just because I'm not 18, I'm getting sun rays right now, so I don't really see the difference.
If the new law passes, minors cannot get a tan. But what are the benefits if the new law passes?
We can potentially save their lives. It's a huge benefit. Tough for kids to understand.
New York State already bans children under the age of 14 from using tanning salons. In Old Westbury, Charles Perry, LI News Tonight.
Well, police have now identified the man who was shot and killed after allegedly breaking into an East Islip home with 2 other men. Police say he's 27-year-old Fred Flock of Coram. Police say he was one of 3 men who forcibly entered the East Islip home early yesterday morning and were confronted by a resident with a shotgun who shot and killed Flock and injured a second suspect. The third suspect, identified as 27-year-old Philippe Robinette of Aquabog, escaped but was arrested a short time later. He's been charged with burglary. The injured suspect was hospitalized in critical condition, and a dog in the home that was shot twice by the suspects is expected to survive. Well, we had a mix of sun and clouds today. The high temperature was up into the mid-60s. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high in the mid-50s. Saturday, the rain returns with showers and wind expected, a high in the low 50s. Sunday, partly cloudy with a high in the low 60s. And the outlook for Monday, mostly cloudy with a high in the mid-60s. And that's it for NYIT's LI News Tonight. I'm Ken Eckhart. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.